What I've got for you today is a particularly exciting match of StarCraft 2, or at the very least that's what I'm assuming. This is a game that was played as part of the World Championship Series Summer. And even though I tried to watch as many of the games live as I could, since they broadcast for like, I don't know, 4 days straight for like 12 hours a day, I wasn't able to watch every single game. Now collectively, of course, with all of us combined, we did end up watching every single game, and I ended up asking on Twitter and on Facebook, as well as the YouTube community page, which of the games in particular I should go ahead and cast. And this game right here, on New Repugnancy, was recommended to me dozens of times. So I have no idea what to expect. But I'm ready for it. Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of New Repugnancy, and playing with the red Terran SCVs. Widely considered to be the strongest Terran player outside of South Korea, although I believe that he actually practices most of his time right now inside of South Korea, so not entirely sure if that still counts, but we have none other than SpeCial, who of course is from Mexico. His opponent in the opposite corner with the blue Protoss probes. From Poland, we have none other than MaNa. So here we go. Already a bit of a cheeky opener right here from SpeCial. This is just here to be a nuisance to that Protoss player. So look, right? MaNa's scouting around right now with a probe. He's trying to figure out what information he can find. And he sees double gas. And, well, I guess a supply depot? He doesn't see that barracks, and that's actually rather annoying. Right now, obviously, we are aware of the fact that it's, well, just outside of the main base. MaNa, at this point, does not know if it's going to be multiple barracks maybe being planted down over at his third base. So he's already going to have to play this one while being a little bit on edge. Looks like there was a single SCV maybe attempting to go for a natural, or at the very least trying to bypass that one probe. A Reaper will be produced, but already a second gateway is coming up here for MaNa, just in anticipation of this potentially being a cheese. So already the mind games are very, very strong. SpeCial trying to trick his opponent into playing safer than he needs to, and it looks like that is working out just fine so far. Not a super quick command center follow-up though from SpeCial. He decides to go for that factory first, because he obviously knows that his opponent knows that there might be cheese coming, and therefore he's likely gonna add on additional unit production. Double chrono boost is being utilized as well. One adept as well as one stalker are gonna be coming up. The probe actually, ooh, okay. So the probe is like, you know what, if you want to play cheeky, I'll go ahead and play cheeky for you as well. I'll go ahead and put down a pylon on your side of the map. Now SpeCial does scout out exactly what's going on right here inside of that main base of the Protoss. Seeing those double gateway units immediately means as well that there's not going to be a nexus on the low ground, so he doesn't really need to double check. He also actually should know that that probe is still around there somewhere, right? Oh, SpeCial. Oh man, you're so damn good. I think he's going to find it out immediately. Oh, that is such a top level play, right? Like that is so like you have to keep on thinking on your feet, because these are the kind of games that are very, very difficult to practice. Anyways, command center coming up. Good lift right there on those supply depots. Even a bunker will be made as well. 2 Reapers are now available, and they're going to start working right there on that pylon. But obviously, since they lost their grenade ability in Wings of Liberty, they're not going to be that great when it comes to fighting structures anymore. The Stalker and the Adept right now made their way across the map, so they're going to be here to protect that robotic facility. And because of that quick command center, right, I think SpeCial is actually going to have a pretty hard time here holding on if this is going to be, say, like chrono boosted Immortals or something along those lines. One of the Reapers does end up falling. MaNa right now looking to get the kill on the second one as well. Oh yeah, you will be able to do exactly that. In the meantime, indeed, that Immortal is now being chrono boosted, so MaNa is looking to get real aggressive, although there's already a probe right here in the natural, and I don't think he really plans on dealing all too much damage. Cyclone is out. Cyclone's obviously amazing when it comes to picking up units. As long as they can lock on at 5 range, they can create a lot of distance between them and the target and deal a lot of damage. Plus, of course, with that high ground advantage, very, very nice. Nexus does start as well, so MaNa's certainly not going all in here, but he does plan on at the very least dealing a little bit of damage. Like SpeCial's position here though a lot, right? Even going for another bunker here, really cool. Now follows it up with a siege tank. He already has a Widow Mine burrowed in front. There's that Liberator. I think he's actually going to send that one across the map to deal some counter pressure. The Adept right here shading forward. He probably saw the little pothole, I'm assuming at the very least. So he probably knows that this is going to be a very well-defended Protoss, or Terran base, rather. A Warp Prism is coming up as well. Of course, we've been seeing a lot of Protoss players pulling out, well, rabbits out of Warp Prisms, I suppose. They've been getting a lot of value when it comes to that Immortal juggling especially. But you can juggle any Protoss unit here. Obviously, essentially, now every gateway unit right here has Blink, right? So let's see how this goes. Siege tank is pretty far back. It's not going to be able to hit the edge right here, I don't think. You can see right there the area in which it can land. Love the addition right here of the Viking, actually. Really, really important. Liberator, though, in the meantime, made its way across the map, and that's going to be very annoying. Microing multiple areas at once is very difficult to deal with in the first place, and I guess these sentries are going to be, I don't know, tickling away? Yeah, he's not even going to bother. He's like, yeah, you know what? Sentries can technically attack, but not worth doing. They're going to tickle that Liberator to death. It's going to take forever. All right, there we go. So that Liberator should be dealt with, and that means MaNa can continue his attention right here on the other side of the map. Nexus, though, did finish up, and I guess for all intents and purposes, right, I'm saying that here that MaNa could continue his aggression. He doesn't really necessarily need to. Obviously, if he just simply soft contains his opponent on one base, and he is mining off of 2 expansions, he's gonna be in a really good spot here in the long run. Obviously, though, this is gonna be a very difficult game to play. This is not your standard straightforward match of Protoss versus Terran, and it's gonna be surprisingly complicated. I like that a lot. Gets the Widow Mine. That Observer right there in a really good spot, providing that high ground vision, and once again picking up some of those weakened units. Command Center, though, feeling ballsy. That one is gonna make its way towards the low ground, but that now means, obviously, that if those units start cycling towards the low ground, the main base is gonna be a little bit more exposed. Charge is gonna finish up here in a little bit. That Liberator still hanging around, but there's a Stalker that was left at home too. 2 Stalkers, actually, so I think that this one is gonna be dealt with here. And indeed, it will get shut down. I wonder if that means MaNa is actually going to send those 2 Stalkers now across the map too. Obviously, he's got to be cautious, right? He doesn't know if there's going to be a medevac full of units moving across, which can sometimes be an absolute disaster. MaNa also in this weird spot where he might actually feel a little bit committed right there to saving that robotic facility. But here we go. Nice set of force fields do go down. Slices off a couple of those Marines. One of the sentries, though, does end up dying there to those siege tank shells. And I think this now creates the opportunity for SpeCial to get into a bit of a better spot. Even repositions the orbital command to the ideal position. Zealot does get latched onto with that Cyclone, but it will get saved there by the Prism. Still, though, those siege tanks, man. Those siege tanks, they're hungry. Look at the area where they can shoot in, right? They're hungry to fight this army, but nicely done there by MaNa. He decides to back up right now for the time being, and I think that's going to be the end right here for this early game pressure for MaNa. Although he does still have a Prism and a Dream. If he could actually get the upgrade there, that'd be huge. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. Very nicely done. Now, keep in mind, the Viking obviously is going to have free reign here. The Immortals obviously cannot shoot up. Previously, he had a Stalker inside of that Prism as well, but still ended up getting the Council right there on Combat Shield, which is very, very annoying. Combat Shield actually extremely critical. And apparently, SpeCial now recognizes, you know what? If you're going to kill my upgrade, it's going to take me a very long time to get it back up and running. That means I may as well go ahead and now go for a 3rd command center instead. 3rd Nexus now also going up here for MaNa, who recognizes the exact same thing. Oh, man. Protoss versus Terran is such a complicated matchup. Like, you have to keep thinking ahead of what you are doing, but then also about what your opponent is doing and what the chances are, right? Like, you can't really have perfect information. MaNa right now doesn't really know exactly what's going on. He does know that, generally speaking, Protoss is going to be the one who gets that 3rd base up quite a bit quicker. Oh, I love that as well. You saw that that patrolling probe right there, getting the vision there on the Liberator? Well, as long as he saw it, obviously. I don't know if you actually noticed. No, I think he probably did. He just needs to warp in a couple of units right now inside of the main base. The majority of that Protoss army, though, making its way across the map. There are 2 of those Stormy boys right there in that Prism. So they're getting the protection here so they can't be EMP'd, and obviously they have a lot more mobility this way as well. Still, though, that's a lot of siege tanks. I don't know if you want to break into that massive storm, though. Goes down on all of those Marines on the high ground. The Immortals starting to actually close the distance. I love that Guardian Shell as well. Absolutely huge. So the Immortals right there target firing down those siege tanks, and they are dealing a tremendous amount of damage. In the meantime, though, we do see that one Viking dealing a little bit of damage. This Liberator already picked up 9 kills as well. Archons and Immortals right now being juggled inside of the main base of the Protoss, and apparently MaNa wants to actually go and do some elevator play. Picks up that weakened Archon once again. It does end up getting picked off because, well, all of its shields were depleted. 13 SCVs are going down, and in just a blink of an eye, what seemed to be an engagement that was not that great there for MaNa, he got a huge storm off. And he all of a sudden finds himself in a decent spot still, though. He doesn't have a lot of mining anymore on the other side of the map. I mean, finally now secures that 3rd base as well. The Prism. Oh my god, the Prism Micro is so insane. Protoss players have gotten so good at the Prism Micro. And there we go, 21 SCVs end up dying. Now I can tell you, though. Oh wow, that was odd. I can tell you, though, that even when you manage to deal a lot of damage, right? Never count out a Terran player who's dropping 3 mules at once, right? He's got 3 orbital commands. That's not to be underestimated. Of course, MaNa right here in a good spot. but he did end up sacrificing a lot of army as well in exchange for those SCVs. And right now, when you look at the work account and the income right here, I mean, it's definitely not looking bad right here for the Terran player, right? I mean, keep in mind, obviously, that there were a lot of probes that were picked off during all of that as well. MaNa, though, right now is going to be able to start producing 3 of those probes at once. And he also now starts up some upgrades. So I like this a lot. Additional barracks coming up here for SpeCial. He's now transitioning towards a very standard mid-game. Still, though... Oh, man, he's going to continue the aggression? I was actually a little bit confused here, but he still has that, yeah, that really big energy High Templar. Still 1 additional storm available as well. Gotta be cautious. That's going to be the last one. 1 Zealot right there picking up Marine and SCVs after SCV. A lot of damage, and you know what? This is actually still hurting a lot. In the meantime, though, on the other side of the map, 1 Medivac full of Marines is now stimming forward. Nice pick up micro. Oh, that prism is starting to run so very dangerously low. Once again, MaNa trying to make the most of this scenario. In the meantime, though, while 22 SCVs are being killed, he needs to get out. Well, I guess no Marines remain. There's actually no Viking either. Oh my god. Well, a couple of Marines now spawn, obviously, but that is still going to be a lot of damage. You need to be careful. Oh my god. Oh, dude, get it out. Get it out of there. Dude, he actually gets out. That's insane. Anyways, look at this. Finally now, these Marines will be cleaned up, but they ended up getting a lot of value. That 1 Zealot's still like, yeah, get the refinery, that'll teach him. He's got a really deep voice, apparently. Okay, recall right there being utilized on that prism. That one's being brought back home. And I think right here, in the grand scheme of things... Oh, you know what? They actually get the prism. That's huge. A little lucky right there as well for MaNa. He could have actually ended up losing both the Archon and the Immortal inside of that. Anyway, SpeCial managed to hold on, right? Yeah, he's stabilized. He's once again dropping mules. Doesn't have a lot of income anymore, but he does have a very significant army supply lead right now. 38 versus 20. That means that obviously he's going to be able to use those army units to move across the map as well. And you can have that economic advantage, but if you don't have the units to back it up, it's going to be very difficult to protect them. There we go. A lot of probes will end up going down. Those Widow Mines connecting as well, dealing a tremendous amount of damage. And those 2 Marines inside of their plane still also providing value, pulling that Protoss player apart. So who is actually ahead here? Both players have effectively now been reduced to 2 base economy. Neither really has a lot of mining. SpeCial, though, still has that really good unit composition, right? I mean, you cannot underestimate just straight up Marine Marauder Medivac. Oh, the Storms, though, very solid, getting a lot of value. The Prism, obviously, is still going to be able to pick up some of those weakened units as well. The Archon's dealing splash damage in a small little radius. And I think this might actually once again be just barely enough here for SpeCial, or rather for MaNa to hold on. Still, that 1 Medivac. Oh my god, he's fine. Dude, he's like, yeah, I don't need a Prism. I've got a Medivac and 2 Marines. I can do the same thing. Keep somehow, some way both of those units alive. And both players are microing Medivacs and Prisms like absolute champions. Which one is the better unit? I don't know. Both are pretty amazing. Well, no, I do know. It's definitely the Prism. But, like, you know, it's still that Marine. Oh my god, getting so much fire. How many kills did I have? 11 and 13! 11 and 13 damage on 2 of those Marines. That's insane. 1 Stalker is probably not going to be enough, though, is it? Oh my god, they're still going to go to town. Oh, in the meantime, oh my god, perfect pickup micro once again by MaNa. Save so many of these units. There's still a lot of Storm available as well. Massive Storm goes down on most of those Marines and Marauders. Picks up once again that weakened Archon. The High Templar looking feisty. Oh my god, he even storms the retreat path. Not something I've really seen that much. A lot of Terran units still remain, though, and I think there might just be a little bit too much right here for SpeCial. MaNa trying to micro his butt off with the units that he's got. Drops down that Archon once again, saves it from its lethal damage, but I'm looking right now at those juicy yellow mining machines, right? And they are really the heroes of this battle. Obviously, the micro here has been tremendous. Apparently, John and Jimmy did not make it back home inside of that Medivac. I guess the Stalker right there ended up cleaning house, but yeah, GG is cold. SpeCial had a little bit too much income there in the end, and even though that game got a little bit crazy, he is the one who ends up being victorious. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I mean, if you're a fan of StarCraft, I can't imagine you didn't. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. It helps me a lot in the YouTube algorithm when it shows that a lot of people are indeed enjoying the video. It might recommend this video as well to other people. So if you did enjoy it, hit that like button. It helps me out. It's the easiest thing to do. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile alright, and I will see you once again in the next one.